Got 10-pound line on my boat flipping. Oh my gosh, look at that. I like a Jighead with an eye bite. Anytime. Okay, cool. In this case, that's a target too. What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. Please take a second to subscribe if you haven't done so yet, so I can keep the channel going. We're out here, and a few weeks ago, last time I came out, the fish were pretty shallow. You catch them on crankbait, spinnerbait, jigs, throwing around some shallow cover, but we got an extreme cold front, and it's been basically freezing temps for the past week, maybe more than that, and it's basically pushed the fish straight into a full-blown winter pattern. We're talking January, but we're going to do a scope video today, and I'll show you what I do to find the fish and how to catch them when they just froze their asses off for a week. So we're going deep, scoping, baby. Some of you don't like it, some of you do, but that's what we're doing today. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, so last time we were here, these little mid-lake points, and you know, the surrounding banks were holding some fish. You probably saw that bank over there in one of my videos from about a month ago. But there were fish holding on the points, on the bluff walls near the points at the mouths of these creeks. And like I said before, it got really cold. So basically what I'm going to do is fish deep the next place those fish would have gone. Basically probably deeper on these points, or we'll go look up in the ditch in these hollows here, and that's what we're going to start with and see if we can catch some. Oh, there's a good one. There we go. Nice spot. So, it's a nice one. Not bad. That fish was in this brush right here, out off the front of this dock. A few weeks ago, they were literally kind of up at the second pole, 10 to 15 foot range. I'll show you on the graph here. They were up in this area here, kind of at the end of the dock, and where it got cold, they moved out into this brush. You can see there's some more swimming around, but basically they just moved about 10 feet, 20 feet out to whatever they see is, I guess, was more comfortable. It's a pretty big one. That might be the one I just threw back there going back. Let's see if we can catch another one. good one. Oh yeah. Another nice spot. Oh yeah. Oh, fatty. So that fish, same case as before. On the other side here, we got a dock that the fish were holding on a few weeks ago, and they've pulled out into some of this brush out here, a little bit deeper, you know, 20 to 30 foot range, and pan around there so you can see what it was holding in. But basically we're just sliding out from where we were catching them before. There we go. Let's try that 1/4 ounce head, see if it speed things up. Always got to keep the crankbait honest in the winter. Guy. That one was just off this little secondary point here. A bunch of small ones. You can see them right there. There were a couple bigger ones in there, but kind of whiffed it and they didn't get the bait. Let's keep going. Some bait here. Got him. That's a pretty big one there if it's a bass. Oh my gosh, what a spot. Oh my gosh, look at that. Big old spot. Nice one. Look at that one. If you ain't scoping, you're hoping. That fish was in this group with the bait here. The bait's getting up higher, so it's probably safe to say that we're going to be able to catch some fish up a little higher, but these ones are pretty easy this time of year to catch when they're running bait like that, and those are big ones. The one I just caught was over 3 pounds, so I'm going to keep doing this for a minute. Spot. good one. Old mooch. Not bad. That one was buried up in this brush right here. You can see there's some more fish swimming around down there. But I'm just floating around kind of in a ditch right here. Secondary point. Wasn't anything on that point, but there's some fish in the ditch right here. So classic wintertime pattern, and it's still pretty early in the year. So let's get back down there and catch another one. All right guys, so the setup on the scope, or in this case active target 2, this time of year I usually start at a 40-foot depth, and if you're seeing a lot of fish in the 20 to 40 foot range, you're going to want to bump that to 50. Keep it at 100 because I'm fishing pretty deep and I want to see a lot. I won't go to 120 because typically this time of year I'm not moving around real fast. You kind of have to go slow and pan around because a lot of them are hovering just above the bottom or sitting down in the ditches and things like that. But I usually keep my range on, or my settings on the down, so I can easily go back and forth between 40 and 50 or 60, or it just depends on how deep the fish are. But we're on A+11 contrast. That just kind of seems like what I always go to on sunny days. Noise rejection on low, and we'll run the trolling motor on high until I get into an area with some fish, and then we'll back that down. And you kind of need to crawl it a little bit because this time of year, if the fish aren't active, which I don't have the water temperature up here, but you can see how they're acting on your scope there. But a lot of the time you're going to want to fish vertical or close to vertical because you can hold the bait in their face longer, and sometimes that's what it takes. You just need a really lazy, slow moving bait to get the fish to bite and commit. But basically start at 40 down, 100 forward, A+11 contrast. Once you get in the zone, go ahead and flip it to the side so you've got some more screen space there. That gets you 1.5 inches or 2 inches on the end there. But give that a try. That should be all you need to do. You're going to have to adjust your presentation depending on how the fish are setting up. If they're up in bait, they're going to be pretty easy to catch. But if they're hovering on the bottom, you might have to go vertical. And see right there, and just kind of hold your bait in their face going down to the bottom. But if they're in the bottom, you know, if the water's pretty clear, you get, you know, 2 to 5 feet above the fish. If it's really clear, maybe 10, but if the water's cold, they're going to be pretty lazy. So just adjust accordingly, but that should get you going for winter scoping. The setup we're currently using is a mooch minnow, and I started with a 3/16 head, but it was taking a while to get down there, so I bumped it on up to a 1/4. I don't tie a loop knot in the wintertime because you're not sitting there just trying to get all that roll out of your bait. The mooch minnow's got these little tabs on the tail, so if you just pull it along slowly, you can twitch it a little bit, but you can basically reel this thing really slow and you'll still get some action out of it. I like a jig head with an eyeball in the wintertime because you're going to hold it in their face for a while and it needs to look real. They're not the smartest creatures in the world, but they know what their food looks like. And basically this is just a medium action. It's a 7'1" Legend Tournament, St. Croix. It's a 10-pound leader, just because that's what was already on this rod, and I went to a bigger jig head so I could keep my 3/16 on the lighter rod. But that's 10-pound braid and a Lew's shallow spool custom light, something like that. I like it. It's a good reel. But anything, you know, medium action, medium light's going to work for your winter scoping needs. I like this one, but as you can see, there's plenty of other ones laying there that I can grab if I need a different size head or a different bait. The water's a little more stained. I'll throw a swim bait instead of a minnow just to get some drawing power out of it, and then you adjust your head accordingly with that as well. So it's all about making adjustments. When you put your trolling motor in the water and you start seeing some fish and casting at them, pay attention to what the fish is doing on the screen, if they're in a chasing mood or if they're kind of lazy, and adjust accordingly. In case y'all were wondering what that big boom was, we got some excavators up here doing some work, so that's what the big boom was. Is. I don't feel like a bass, but it might be. Yep, it's a big bass. Oh my gosh. What a spot. Got 10-pound line and we'll boat flip it. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is a gorilla of a spot. Oh my gosh. Look at that thing. Big old spot. That's a big one. Big old wintertime Crater Lake spot. Spot. Nice mean mouth. spot. Oh man, there's another big spot. Oh. Gorilla. Spotzilla. Nice one. Another big spot. Winter scoping, can't beat it. Big one. The old mooch. Nice one. Straight under the boat there. That's a nice one. It's on the old